All right, all you cool cats and kittens out there, we're going to go ahead and work in TinkerCAD today. So we're going to go ahead, sign in. We're going to go ahead, don't worry about your class, just sign in with Google. Please use your D205 email address. And you're right now in the area. Hopefully it opens up to sort of the start page. If not, click on this TinkerCAD grid and it will always bring you back to sort of the start page. We're going to go ahead, create a new design. First thing that we should always do, they always give us strange fun names. We're going to call this Jet and then your last name. How about that? So here we go, work plane, just a few. If you have a mouse, I highly recommend it. Without a mouse, this becomes much more difficult. If you want, you can left click, and that's kind of like your select tool. If you hold down the right button, you can orbit. Work plane is kind of like the straight on view of things. You also have up here the ability to orbit if you need to. For some of you, you're pros. For others of you, it's going to be a learning process, and that's okay. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing that we are going to do is build the fuselage. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead, grab a cylinder. We're going to drop a cylinder onto our work plane. We can use the wheel of the mouse to zoom in or zoom out as we need to. We're going to go ahead, hold the shift key, and we are going to grab the mouse. And we're just going to make it extra big. And we're going to then click on it and hit 15, which would change all of the measurements evenly. So we have a radius of 15 right now. We're going to go ahead and change our sides from 21 to 64 right over here. That'll make it more round for us. Before, if you saw, there were some ridges. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch it up. We're going to go ahead, start to stretch it up, and we're going to enter 60. So we'll zoom out so we can see it a little bit better there. And right now we're doing pretty well. We're going to go ahead and rotate this fuselage now. So if we kind of go up here, we can click on it and we can get it to about 90 degrees. If you want, you could always type in 90 degrees. Notice how it's floating. We want it down on the surface, so we're going to click on it and hit the D button to drop it. So now you'll notice that it is on the surface. So we're going to go ahead, scroll down a little bit. We're going to grab ourselves a half sphere and drop it onto our work surface. We're going to go ahead and stretch it, make it a little bit longer, but we're also going to make it narrower. Remember, this is 15 across, so if we can get it to 12, that would be great. All right, so we're going to go ahead and align. So what we're going to do is click and drag our mouse, make sure that we have two shapes grabbed here. We're going to use the align tool. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to align the object here. So it is kind of floating a little bit. That's fine. I have no problem. The other thing I want to do is make sure that it is centered. So there we go. It is centered. I can click on this, and if I scroll to the front, I can use my arrow keys. Kind of get it in there a little bit. Now it's kind of hidden, so I'm going to use the control and the up arrow. And so as you see, the cockpit now has floated above. I'll grab everything, just make sure that it is aligned, centered. It certainly is. So there you go. We've got now the cockpit. If you wanted to click on it, click on solid, you can make it transparent and woo-wee, it almost kind of looks like you see through it. So there, folks, is the cockpit. So to go ahead, work on the nose cone, we're going to change the work surface. We actually want to work at the front of our fuselage. So we're going to hit the letter W. We're going to go ahead and make sure that our mouse has it where, hey, we're going to be working on the front of the plane. So you'll see this orange grid. That it means this is our workspace. You can either use a cone or a paraboloid. So I'm going to use a paraboloid. We're going to click it on there. What we're going to do is I'm going to hit the W key again, and I'm going to click anywhere except on the yellow to change my workspace back. We're going to click on my paraloid, and we're going to go ahead and let's see here. If I move it around a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and hold the shift key and make it ginormous. And I'm going to change it. Remember, our fuselage is 15, so I'm going to hit 15 in there, and everything is changed to 15. I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, notice how it kind of dropped down. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit the letter D to drop it to the surface. I'm going to use my mouse. I'm going to click and just make sure I got these two shapes together. So once I know I have those two shapes, note that the cockpit is not part of it. I'm going to use my align tool. And what I want to have happen here is I want it to align to the orange part. So I have it there, and bada bing, bada boom, it seems and it appears to be aligned. So there we go. We now have the nose cone done. So we're going to go ahead and work on the wing now. So we're going to take a wedge. We're going to go ahead and drop it down. We're going to go ahead and rotate it. So we'll click on it and we'll rotate it 90 degrees. Again, I can always click on it and type in 90. We're going to make it a little thinner. So we're going to go ahead, click on the white. We'll drag it down to, I don't know, 4 or 5. It'll be your choice. There's my wing there. I am now going to kind of orbit a little bit. I'm going to click on the wing, and I'm just going to use and hold down. I sometimes find that's the easiest way to move the wing. I'm going to stretch the wing a little bit. I can either grab a corner or a black piece. I can make the wing however I want it. I can move it back a little bit. Again, I can make it a little bit bigger. Even though I'm running out of space here, that's easy to fix. We can work on that. Once you have the wing the way you want it to look, go ahead, click on it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit Control D or click up here on duplicate. We're going to go ahead, move our wing away. This is the second one, but we want to use the very powerful flip tool. So we're going to go up here and, the mirror tool. So we're going to go ahead, click on it or click the letter M. And we want to mirror it. And if you were to go over any of the arrows, it would show you how it does it. We want to use this one because now we have our wings this particular way. So again, we now are able to probably click on these. We can move them up a little bit. We can go ahead and go Control up arrow if we would like. If we would like to center them, we could go ahead. Control Z if you ever get in trouble. I'm going to click on the 3 shapes. I'll have 3 shapes here. We're going to go ahead and align, and we just want to align them to the middle. And that's what I have right now. And if I look from back here, that looks pretty good. Again, may not be perfect. It looks like these may be off a little bit. I suppose I could grab them, bring them back a little bit so I could see how they look from the back. You notice that this one is a little bit more in, so we'll click on it, use the arrow. Well, looks about right. I can click on them again, and I can move them up a little bit if I'd like. So, folks, there we go. There are the wings to my plane. Now, I'm going to have to make my rocket a little bit longer. So instead of 60, I'm going to go ahead, click in 90. Makes it look a little bit better. I could have, if I wanted to, I think I could have grabbed hold of this black, and I could have just, if you want to change one dimension, you grab black. If you grab a white, it changes multiple. So we're going to go ahead down here, grab a roof, or go up, find roof. We're going to go ahead, drop that roof right there, and we're going to turn it over 90 degrees. We're going to lower it down. I'm going to call it, hey, my other wings were 4. I'm going to make this one 4. And we're going to go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways to do that, but that's the way I chose to do it. Whoop. Change it to 90 instead of not 91. I can make it a little bit bigger. And you can use that trusty align tool. Again, I just want the fuselage and this tail fin. I can go ahead and hit the L or click the align button. And I want to align it to the middle of this and the middle moving up. So there we go. I got it kind of hanging off the end here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push it forward. That's what I have right now. It is centered. I might want to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to grab it. But if I do that, obviously, I just need to make sure I get these two objects or these two shapes. I want to go to the Align tool or L. I want to align it to the base, so we're going to click, and it's already there. I'm going to move it with the arrows. Oop. And I just want to double check one more time. I think I kind of messed it up. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead, click, and just make sure that it's these pieces, two shapes. We're going to go ahead and align and make sure it's aligned to the center part. And there we go, looking pretty good. So I got my tail. To add a tail fin, we're going to go ahead and change our work plane by pressing the W key and just making sure we are on top of the tail fin that we just finished with. We're going to go ahead and grab out a cone. We're going to drop it onto that work surface. While we're here, we're going to change the top radius to 3. So if I want, I can just click in the box, hit 3 and enter. And we got that working. We're going to go ahead and also squeeze it in. And you can squeeze it in as much as you want. I'm going to go ahead, have a look at it. That's looking mighty fine to me. We are now going to go ahead, hit W again, change my workspace, click anywhere where it's not orange. And we're ready to go. I want to center this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to carefully go upwards so I can align these two objects. Hopefully it'll work. We're going to go ahead, hit L, or we'll go to the Align tool. We're going to click on the fuselage, the orange fuselage. We'll hit the middle. And bada bing, bada boom, it sat there and centered it for me. Last thing I need to do is probably click on it, use my arrow keys. And again, if something didn't turn out right, I can always Control Z it, but there we go. Added the tail fin. Last thing that I'd like you to do is, let's go ahead and get it to the front. We can click on the front, move it a little bit. We're just going to personalize it by adding a little text. You're going to add some text, change the text to your last name. I'm going to go ahead, grab a corner, and I'm going to make it smaller. I'm also going to plunge it down. So there we go. I got my name by it. I know that it is mine. We're going to go to Send To. We're going to download a picture of our design. It should have whatever you retitled it very early. You'll save it. And then you'll go to Google Classroom and you will add this attachment to the assignment.